All I do is the teaching, the checking. Grades were due today, this morning, yay, so they're passed. And I played 2 Point Basketball on my Switch. Raya.
That's Hey everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. We welcome you to another episode, finally, of Pen.
Noobs.
I'm Ryan,
I'm Jika.
and we haven't been up for like a month already. We apologize for being disconnected for a while. We've gone through a lot of life changes over the past few weeks, and a lot of things had to be expedited, a lot of things had to be prioritized. And so, um, things haven't been as normal as how they used to be. Not like, I mean, the pandemic isn't normal, but like, when you got used to the pandemic and then you're like, okay, this is my new normal. And then now the new normal is like changing again. So, yeah.
It's a newer normal, and we're still adjusting. But Ryan,
Yeah.
I don't think you have to apologize. I don't think. Sorry, guys. It's like I don't think we have to be too apologetic about it, because I don't know. You just said that things are changing. The world is opening up. We've already been mentioning that our lives and the paths that we've taken are also changing. So, like, I don't want to have to apologize for the good changes that have been taking place. I do feel guilt. Let me go there. Like, I do feel guilt for not posting so much or not following through with the episodes as much. But at the end of the day, like, when we look back at why we're doing this, it's fun. It should
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah.
So we're back to have
Yeah.
fun. We're not
Yeah.
sorry that we took the time off, and it's great that you're still here.
Yeah. Not sorry. Yeah, I'm not sorry.
What have you been up to?
So, what have I been up to? Well, I'm now in Taiwan. I think I posted um, some short videos while I was in the airport,
Mhm.
reporting something that I discovered recently. But that's not my noob discovery. But we'll get to that later. But speaking of, things you learned over the past few weeks, maybe we can start off first with our noob discovery. Then
Yeah.
I'll get back to that short video I posted on Instagram.
Sorry, I got excited because actually, guys, I haven't talked to Ryan
Since the pen meet.
since the pen meet, yeah, with Sir Alden in uni. So, oh gosh, that was before you left, and you left 2 weeks ago.
Um, yeah, I can't even tell
Give or
anymore.
take.
Well,
It's been a month since I've seen you and talked to you.
yeah, almost, yeah,
So there's that.
yeah.
I guess noob discovery time because I've forgotten the format of our show.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
I
So yeah,
can. Oh,
I
okay. Go
can
ahead.
start
Go
with
ahead.
my new discovery. Okay, so um, this is kind of related later to the theme of today's episode, but one of the things I've surprisingly encountered over the past few weeks is that I've watched a lot of vloggers who aren't into stationery, who aren't really into fountain pens, into inks, but they journal. Like I've been watching a lot of um, prepare with me. Like a lot of them are fashion models, and a lot of the fashion models I've been watching, whenever they tell me about what they've been doing, a day in the life of a fashion model, a lot of them actually journal. So I'm
Oh.
like, oh my god, journaling is waving at me. And then I've watched a vlogger who an influencer on YouTube, his name or his name, her name, their name. I'll just use they.
Mhm.
Their name is Stan,
Mhm.
World of Extra. Um, very flamboyant influencer. You wouldn't expect the person to like journal a lot, but they do. Super interesting. Like I was like, oh my gosh, you can because a lot of times we have well, I honestly have this notion that most of the people who journal are those who are more introverted, or at least have
Mm.
that tendency to be introverts, and so they tend to channel all of their thoughts onto paper. But I'm surprised that journaling is very universal. It kind of just debunked that kind of understanding. I mean, oh, those who journal are just these kind of people, or people who are really into fountain pen stationery. But everyone can journal. And yeah, I guess it's not really a discovery, but it's more of like just it helped me reframe my
Mm.
way of looking at journaling. Like I don't have to be just, oh, I'm just into fountain pens and stationaries now, and I don't want to mix it with my other interests. But I've now learned to embrace that all of these things, just come together naturally, and I don't have to force them or segment them.
I saw that. I mean, I haven't thought about how non-stationary and FB people journal.
Right?
Yeah, in a long time. And then now that you bring it up, I'm like, but I wasn't a stationary person when I started journaling. So maybe it's a new thing ish to us at least. Like over the past year or two, we're just like, yeah, we're part of the community and that's why we journal versus like
Mhm.
we used to journal before we were part of the community.
True.
Interesting
Yeah.
stuff. Hmm.
Yeah. So there.
Send me
What
links
about
to those videos, please.
Yes, I will look for them and I'll give you the link so that we can link them below in the description box.
I love it. We're back on YouTube. Yes, description box. Anyway, my new discovery is something that I already posted. I think, yeah, it's it. I just want to show it to the world. They haven't seen it in its full
Oh
glory.
my god, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and you're not gonna see it anymore because you're there. So it's gonna
Well,
take a while
I
for you
see it
to see.
now. I see it now.
Touch it, feel it. But
But I
yeah,
cannot touch it.
this is the Leonardo. It's not focusing. That's all right. Like low tech. But it's the Leonardo Momento Magico Grande.
Magical.
In Jonathan Brooks of the Carolina Pen Company's primary manipulation one. I have been talking about this pen for over a year. And finally, you see why hook me up as he hooks me up with other like grinds and things from Japan, and even helped me out with PhD like school recommendations. So yeah, it looks like a nebula in space. And
Mhm.
the day that I
Yeah.
got it, thank you, Eunice. Again, I went on a trip to Eunice's house, because we ship at the same time. But it's the same day that the web, what do you call it? The Webb telescope did release the picture.
Mm.
So I was like, it's a momentous day.
Ah, beautiful. The
Oh.
timing.
So that's actually I don't think it's a new discovery for me because I have wanted this pen. It's like gray levels, guys. I've wanted this pen for a year and a half already, and I missed out the first time. So maybe this is a noob discovery for you guys. If you look for not maybe not necessarily this pen. I was chasing after the body. Look up the primary manipulation line from Jonathan Brooks or Carolina Pen Company. It's my favorite. Um, it's my favorite resin body. And everything, and they've got like metallic versions. They've got what do you call it? A pastel version. They also have like there are two recent releases from Leonardo as well. They're called primary manipulations as well. And I have to do more research as to why that's the case. But I know that he's got a specific formulation or a specific number of colors that he swirls in a particular way. So
Oh.
if you guys get into resin pens, I'm sure that they're a big thing in America, but not necessarily in the Philippines because all of the rods come from other countries, but they're very interesting because each pen that you get will surely be unique. So go down that
Beautiful.
rabbit hole. Go.
Beautiful. That's so nice. Sadly, I wasn't able to see it in person, but I'm happy that it finally arrived.
Yeah, I can't wait. But anyway, that's it for
Pretty.
noob discoveries.
Hmm.
What's the haps then?
So yeah, so we were talking earlier about the changes or the shifts in the things that's been happening. And I think I've been mentioning this since our May episode, and finally it actually happened. For the past few weeks, Jika and I haven't really had a chance to schedule because it was just so hard for me to um, sit down actually and focus our conversation on fountain pens and stationaries. Primarily because I was busy with the whole moving out thing, and then also one of the things that um, could be the reason is because I don't know, I just didn't feel super motivated during those times to to talk about fountain pens. Like it's not that I'm not motivated to talk to you, like super always want to talk. It's just it's just like I don't know.
We
I
have to
haven't
arrange our thoughts and be like not we have to be like okay.
yeah, or like we have to be both well spontaneous, but at the same time we have some sort of like a direction with our conversation. It's not like just some random oh we want to talk about this and then
Structure.
we're gonna talk
See,
about that.
we needed to have a sense of structure, and we weren't really in the best headspace for that. Like, I posted it in our IG stories. That little conversation we had where I said like, Ryan, I really tried recording, so I was so depressed. And our episode was supposed to be about motivation, but I got demotivated, and it's absolute truth. Because guys, this is not the first time that we tried to record. We tried to still keep up with the whole like, let's just have like 2 episodes every month. And then toward the end of June, I think, I was like, Ryan, let's set this episode. And then Ryan's like, I can't because I'm moving the country. And I'm like, it's okay, I'll record alone. Maybe I'll make it work. And then like I kept putting it off. I kept putting it off, and then the next thing you know, it's already mid-July, and then and everybody just was demotivated because I mean, like I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's gotten like expression wise, it's gotten so bad that I haven't even done leather in a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. All I do is the teaching, the checking. Grades were due today, this morning, yay, so they're passed. And I played 2 Point Hospital on my Switch. Ryan.
You mentioned grades. Oh my god, yeah, the grades. Oh my god, they're due today.
You
Oops.
got till midnight. We'll finish
Yeah.
early.
Oh god. Good lord. Yeah, okay,
Fine.
okay.
It's just it's one class. We can do
It's
this.
okay. I only have 5 kids.
What? Really?
Yeah, 5 kids.
Well, you can muster up enough motivation to get through that. So we can do this.
Yeah.
We'll finish it
Well,
early in an hour.
I'm motivated because of the panic. You know how like as students or when we were students we don't really finish papers because we're super motivated for it, but we're more of like we just panic. The
Yeah, it's
best
more
motivation is
panic.
fun.
But we've dealt with worse. We've dealt with like 70 plus due in like 2 days.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's true.
we're good at this. Anyway, so that's my point. We just kept putting it off because we weren't in the mood. And I think that we all have to admit that there are times when, and this doesn't even have to be stationary related, but maybe because we are a stationary and pen podcast, it is stationary related. Like there are just times that we're not in the mood.
Yeah.
Not in the mood to record. I hadn't been in the mood to journal for like 2, 3 months. I'm not in the
So
mood to do leather right now. What are you not in the mood of? Right.
I am not in the mood to journal. I am not in the mood to commit to any fountain pens. I am not in the mood to be excited about an ink. It's
Yeah.
not because I'm not excited. It's more of like just have to control myself. Like right now, even um, in the Airbnb where I'm staying right now, right below this Airbnb is like stores, Uniqlo, Zara, H&M. But I'm not motivated because I choose not to.
Oh, like there's a time and place. And
Yeah,
if I start hyping myself up and actually get motivated, I'm not ready for that yet. Something like that.
yeah. It's more of like I'm trying to condition or there's that motivation, but sometimes you have to suppress or try to talk to yourself about what is important well, like on a regular or on a normal day, I would probably go down and like, "Oh, I'm gonna shop because I'm a tourist." But right now, since I'm here and I'm more preoccupied with like finding a place for
Mhm.
myself, so I can't really think about those things right now. Similarly with fountain pens, I'd want to look at fountain pens right now. I want to go to the store in Taiwan where they say they sell the TN Taiwan beer, but I don't have. I'm motivated, but I just don't want to do it now. There, does that
You're
make
setting it
sense?
aside. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. It's like when a new game comes out, but I know it's Hell Week and I have to be checking.
Yeah,
Like I won't
exactly.
probably. It's like for every Pokemon release that we have, like Ryan, diba? That's us essentially. Hey, Pokemon's coming out. Are you getting it? Yes, but I will not play it until grades are submitted.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
oh, well then we're done with that. Episode done. Move on.
Yeah, so there, motivation is quite tricky. I don't have much to cite here right now since this isn't really an academic podcast. It's more of us just sharing our thoughts. But you know, as teachers, as now my career is more into marketing and relations. Motivation is at the core of, of human life. Like we are all motivated by something. Humans are motivated by something. People eat because they're motivated to eat because of hunger, or they strive because of this. They want to work because of that. So there's this motivation that drives them to action, a stimulus that drives them to action.
Teacher,
Yes.
teacher. I know you said we're not gonna get academic, but I was actually reading about this.
Oh, go, go,
Like I
go,
actually
go,
brought up sources and everything. And like I was
go.
reading somewhere, excuse me, Psychology Today. I know you're not the most reliable source, but it's seemingly practical because it ties in exactly with what you said. That apparently motivation can be very tied to Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
and then I was coming up with the realization that maybe my lack of motivation is born of the fact that currently, within the past few months, I don't exactly need anything. So,
Okay.
or like I don't exactly need the journal or something like that. So, parang what was being said in the thing that I was reading, I'll link it, don't worry, was that according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if something is lacking within that pyramid, right? If something's lacking within that pyramid, obviously you will be motivated to fill in the gap of that lack or of that absence. So
Right.
clearly, if there's no food, you're going to be motivated to go out of your cave and go hunting to get the food, right? If you're thirsty, the same thing applies. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you're going to do something. You're going to be motivated to stop to do something to stop feeling overwhelmed. And like that, I mean, if you go back X number of episodes ago, that was our motivation, right? For journaling,
True.
even for this podcast. We we were exhausted, we were burnt out, we were overwhelmed. So, what's the best thing you can do given your situation? Find a pocket of time every month, hang out with your best pen friend,
Yeah.
former boss, my best pen friend, my former boss, my ride or die in Ateneo as well.
Yeah.
And then, make a podcast about something that you love so that you feel some respite from all the stresses that you feel. And it served its purpose. Like when I was reading that, it's perfect. But now since I've moved on from my previous job and so have you, and I mean we're teaching in the summer right now and it's not exactly as heavy a load as teaching in the normal semester and where we previously taught, like given the numbers, right?
Yeah.
And motivated to journal because things have been going good.
Yeah. And I guess, things have changed over the past few weeks, I'd say. I mean, a lot of us started to get into journaling because we were all cooped up, holed inside our houses. And so we were finding a way to channel that energy, or, if we need to talk to people, we usually do Zoom calls. But aside from that, how do you spend time when you have nothing, or you barely have anything to do, right? So It has something to do as well, probably with we talked about the lipstick effect a couple of episodes ago, right? If you remember, like why would you buy a lipstick if you can't use it? So we start to look for resources where we can rechannel
Yeah.
the money we have in order to um, gain some pleasure or excitement from. So it's not about buying shoes, because I mean, why buy shoes if you're not going to go out? Why buy a lipstick? Why buy a concealer if you're not going to go out? But you want something colorful, you want something that will you know um, add add flavor to the life that you're living, which
Hmm.
is stuck at home. So that's where fountain pens came in. Actually, I was thinking about it. Fountain pens and ink kind of remind me of cosmetics. Not that I do cosmetics, but it's more of like just thinking about it. I think the reason why the ladies prefer all of those colors, it's kind of like looking at the different palette available for
Hmm.
makeup brands. So yeah, there.
Yeah. It fulfilled the need in a time of
Yeah,
need. We were
that's true.
able to go out of the house, and we needed socialization, and we needed the sense of community, and we also needed the sense of grounding. Like I don't know where all those fall in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but there was a
Mhm.
need there clearly, a personal, individual, and a communal need that we all went to fulfill by and through hobbies. I mean, that's why plantitas happened.
Yeah, true.
That's why watch collection became a thing. That's why journaling came back. That's why I don't know how many reels I've seen about people making rugs. All
Mm.
of a sudden, like hobbies are everywhere. And I mean, it served its purpose. And admittedly, despite the fact that we're not in the mood and not motivated and haven't been for quite a while, admittedly, it's it's still there. We're still doing the
Yeah.
podcast. And recently, I just caught up with all my journal entries between March to June 30.
Oh,
I mean, I took shortcuts, but it's also like a different sense of fulfillment. Yeah. But, you know, I think it's also time to acknowledge that one, it has served its purpose, but also that I don't think it's going away. It's just gonna lessen. It's gonna become a minimized portion of my life after.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
Depend
sure. Yeah, it served its purpose to be, a way to find comfort during those times wherein you couldn't talk to anyone, or you were trying to discover who you are. So I think it served its purpose, whether you're motivated or not. And I think we've always talked about how we shouldn't feel pressured to journal, but rather we should journal for ourselves and not for anyone else. We shouldn't feel like we should be journaling because that's content, or like we can talk about it to people, but like we should just journal when we want to,
Yeah.
right? And we need to.
I didn't
Yeah.
want to. I didn't need to.
Yeah. But
Maybe,
you
yeah.
know, one of the things I've discovered, or not really discovered, but more of like one of my realizations while I was packing while moving to Taiwan is that I have so many journals and I have so I have so much paper. Like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh God. I was like, how am I going to live my life if I'm going to be stuck with all of these journals? I mean, I know a lot of planner addicts, planners, stationary vloggers would talk a lot about having 7 planners. I remember that, and I had that moment when, okay, I'm gonna do a techo kaigen. I'm gonna have 7 planners, and then look at me now. Like, what am I gonna do with all 4 of you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there, I think this is a part of yourself wherein there was a phase you wanted a lot of planners, a lot of notebooks, and then now you're in a phase wherein you have to be a bit more practical because you're not always just stuck at home, so you have to move around. So you don't have all the time in the world to be on your desk.
I love that this episode is suddenly turning into like Journalers Anonymous. My name is Jika, and I haven't journaled for like for 3 months. Um, I have been experiencing a certain level of guilt given my lack of journal entries and my inability or my my sudden stopping in filling in my tarot journal, my media journal, my planner, and my personal journal. Like I had four. And then it's like, I mean, maybe this episode will be that episode where it's like catharsis for everyone who's feeling guilt right now. Maybe that's why I keep repeating it. Like, I was not in the mood. I am not in the mood. But
Yeah,
I know that I still want to be in the community, and I know that this thing, stationery, fountain pens, this podcast is still a significant part of my life, and I don't want to lose it. It's just like, Jika, cut yourself some slack. You're human. The
yeah,
world is opening up. Ryan is in Taiwan. Mask mandates are disappearing. You are boosted twice over. Like, come on.
yeah,
There
for
are other
sure.
things to get excited about. And there are other things that can be just as rewarding because the situation has inevitably shifted. If
Yeah,
quarantine, what was the word for it? The intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, like the
motivation.
if within, and you'll explain this because I know you teach this
No,
or you read the
well,
stuff on this, but like
no,
if
no,
during oh
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 go, go.
I
You
think
go first.
my point was just that if within quarantine, within that context, the extrinsic motivation was to feel grounded. So the solution was journaling, the action was journaling. Now that the context has shifted and we are no longer in intensive quarantine, we're in alert level one, the solution or the action or the behavior that I want to take um is to go out within
Yeah,
within reason and within safety protocol still. But yeah, like I don't want to be journaling. I want to be shopping.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we are motivated one way or another. I remember when I was in isolation for 5 days. I haven't journaled for 4 months. And then during the time when I was in isolation, I didn't want to talk to people. I don't want to FaceTime with people. I don't want to video call with people. Like, no. Then Chica was like, "Oh, Ryan, can we record?" Oh, sorry, I'm tired. Well, I am. I was tired that time, but I was also like, I don't want to record right now. I'm still in isolation. Like my mind isn't there. But I had the energy to journal.
Ooh.
So weird. Yeah. So I think it really has a lot to do with your motivation, whether it's in extrinsic or intrinsic motivation. Whether it could be your environment that's driving you to do that, or it could really be you. You need to journal because you want to talk to someone or you want to be alone. I think it has something to do with that. To be honest, I found journaling as a way to to be alone but still be comforted by the presence of some being, not God per se, but someone. It's like I'm talking to myself without feeling isolated, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
still feel
talking.
connected.
Yeah. It's like talking to another version of you that is accepting of
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So there's that. But
Yeah,
motivation. Do
yeah.
the motivation. Did you know that I actually took notes on Monday. I'm sorry. On Monday, what was I doing? I remember I wasn't replying to you, or I wasn't replying to a lot of people. I think I was checking on Monday. So
Okay.
I was just like offline. I remember messaging Ryan in the morning, and then we were supposed to record in the evening, and then I missed his message that it was going to be postponed. So I was like, okay, oh my god, it's almost 8 p.m. So I started taking my notes down. I actually have notes for the episode, like academic American Psychological
Oh,
Association.
go. Cite them,
Well,
honey.
so let's talk about it because sayang yung motivation.
Yeah, go.
You want me to
Spill all of that
okay.
research.
And I think it's really applicable because like when I was reading and summarizing and taking notes for whatever it is that I was reading, I was like, this applies to my journaling, to my leather crafting, and to my life. So if you're listening right now, maybe this works out. Maybe it'll take away the guilt for not having journaled or taken pictures or made a post on social media for quite a while. So Let's
Yeah.
talk about the science of motivation from the American Psychological Association and Dr. Murayama, PhD. And essentially, I'm just gonna run through it. Nahiya ako for some reason. I haven't done I haven't done these rundowns in like months. So maybe it'll just be a springboard to comfort you and to extend the conversation. So first of all, it's about obviously motivation. And the first claim that Kuya Maruyama 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 Sensei says is that motivational theories are not one size fits all, and there's like a
Yeah.
different set of theories between educational psychology, social
Yeah.
psychology, organizational psychology. There's a different psychology in the different disciplines, and maybe Ryan can expand on this further. So, what was interesting about the paper or the journal article was that it was divided into after that introduction one, two, three, four portions, and it talked about like I think four different experiments regarding different aspects of motivation. So the first one was motivation and learning, or rather, explicating why the heck people are motivated to learn in the first place, right? So like maybe if you wanna superimpose that phrase or that logic onto like a hobby, why do people want to journal in the first place? Why do people want to, know more about fountain pens and know the difference between filling mechanisms and fountain pen nibs and fountain pen bodies and fountain pen brands? Why do you want to learn, right? And there are two reasons. The first one is to master materials or develop confidence. Competence. Freudian slip, Jika?
Confidence.
I am confident. I just colored my hair. The other
Yeah,
reason is
actually, nice hair.
thank you. It looks like my PM1. What do you call it? So the first one is about competence. The second one is about competition. It's about outdoing others.
Mm.
And clearly, when I was reading this, I was like, I'm not in the camp to beat anyone's collection or to like have like 800 journals and like fill them all with my beautiful not beautiful handwriting and like have the right ink. Sorry, I'm not competitive like that. I don't care. But like, I'm more in the area of like I like learning for the sake of learning. I like that when we're in the community and I go on FPP and someone makes like an essay about the new like the soft nib versus a hard EF. Like I want to know what the heck they're talking about, right? So that's my motivation for learning. So where do you guys see yourselves in that? And maybe it can give you perspective about why or how you hobby in this hobby. Saan ka doon,
Hmm.
Ryan? Bakit ka ba?
Actually, when I think about it, it all starts with honestly, when I started with the hobby, it's more of like competence. Like I was really interested with like fountain pens. I wanted to get to know more about it. Like it's something that I would say, oh, I know how to use fountain pens. Like it's part of my identity.
Ah,
And
okay.
then and then when I got a couple of pens, now I started to like, oh, I want to have the same collection as this person. That's where you see now the competition, the competitive part of yourself. Like, oh, I want to have as much ink as this person. I want to have the same aesthetic as this person. And then after a while, you'll come to realize that you're gonna end up going back to that whole competence part.
Oh.
Yeah. I think well that's how I see my journey. Maybe for others they're still they're in that whole competition part. Oh, have to have nicer things or I have to have more pens than this person. Like I couldn't even imagine I sold all of my platinums
Thank you.
3776. Yeah, oh yeah, and I gave you one.
Gave you one.
Imagine if I were competitive, I would never give Jika that platinum 3776. But no, it's more of like I want her to experience platinum, and that's why I give it to her. So it's more of like competence, like passing on that now to you so that you get to experience that as well. And I do have an anecdote later that I'm gonna share. Yeah.
Oh, about learning something else and the motivation for that learning. Okay,
Yeah.
totally get it. Okay, point two of the article. Maybe this is gonna be like that personality testing of sorts. Like, what kind of motivated hobbyists are we? Second aspect is motivation and rewards. Mm,
Yeah, the
favorite.
reward.
Okay, so it says here. What are my notes? there is by default something called an undermining effect or an over justification effect, wherein rewards have a detrimental impact on intrinsic motivation. Let me just
Yeah.
process that again. Like, this was the hardest part when I was reading it because they're talking about this experiment about kids being made to play a game inside an MRI scanner.
Okay.
There was this group of kids that were like, hey guys, all you have to do is go into the scanner and play this game. Like maybe it's a game of, I don't know, jackstones. And there was this other group of kids where they were like, go inside the scanner and play this game so that you get the reward. And then as it turned out, the second group, the kids who were told that they would get a reward, were actually more demotivated to do the task than the kids who were just told to just go inside and play the game. And I think it had something to do with the fact that when they were doing the task that was assigned, if you are told that you're going to get the reward, your focus is not on the task. Your focus is on
It's
the
under the
reward.
reward. Yeah.
And if you're just told, go, you have to do this, of course you're going to do it. And you're going to like focus on how exactly you're doing it because you have no idea. Well, at least within the context of that experiment, you have no idea why the heck you're doing it. You're focused on the task. So how does that apply to this?
Well, you know how like some people would. Well, okay, I'll give you a real life situation
Yes,
of
please.
me. You know, I had a phase where I really wanted a traveler's notebook, Kyoto edition. I've been
Yeah.
eyeing it for a while. So I was like, I want it. But why do I want it? I want it because it's not popular. It's kind of rare. Like,
Mhm.
not a lot of people have it. So there. And then when I got it already, I was like, oh, great. And then I took a photo, then I posted it. I'm like, and it's done. It's something like that. Like, I was thinking about the reward, like people recognizing, oh, you have something that's unique or you have something that's different. Not a lot of people have that Kyoto traveler's notebook. Yeah, so there. I think that's one thing. And then now that I think about the new, I think there was this limited edition traveler's notebook, like the four designs. I
Mhm.
didn't get any of them, but I really thought about it. Like, why do I want to get one? Do I want to get one because I really like it? Honestly, I didn't like.
Mhm.
I like the designs. It's just that they don't fit into the T. They're not perfect for me. Like, I want one element from one and then one from the other, so I didn't get any there. That's the whole maturity part now.
Ew. Maturity. Ew. No. Okay. So wait, let me get this straight. In essence, within your example, you were focused on the reward of feeling like you have something special. And then
Yeah,
once you already did the post and you once you acquired it and did the post and that was already affirmed, parang nawala na quickly.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I didn't really want the Kyoto design. It didn't super speak to me. It just only spoke to me because it was Kyoto design. That's it.
So it was the feeling after that you were chasing, not the object in and of itself.
Exactly. So there
Oh, okay. Maybe this ties in with the whole like I will purchase for competition thing.
could be. Yeah, I think that's one of the things as well. Like I when I asked my friend to buy it for me, and then after a month I realized, oh, I don't really want it, but got ordered already, so like, wala na. Oh well. So there, when it arrives,
Oh,
it's not like super like, oh, it's so nice, like perfect. You know, so there.
shoot. Napaisip ako, ganun din ba? But I think for the most part, I really just buy stuff out of pleasure.
Well, yeah.
Motivation!
Mm,
Sorry.
true.
Okay, third point, third point. It says here, oh, there's an actual section called motivation and competition. So, it says here that in the face of competition, we adopt and I mean, I don't know my own shortcut in handwriting. In the face of competition, we adopt two different motivational goals. So one is the performance of. Oh my God, Jika, why do you make these notes like this? Because I said I did abbreviations. I thought they were different, and it says, oh, it says proof. It says perfect. Okay. There's a performance approach, and then there's performance avoidance. Okay, I thought I was like
Okay.
unperceived. Okay, sorry. So performance approach and performance avoidance. The performance approach has the person focus on the outcomes, and the performance avoidance has the person focus on negative outcomes. Sorry, I'm like very confusing right now. Performance approach, I will focus on a positive outcome. Performance avoidance, I will focus on a negative outcome. And that will be your motivation. So, like, there are people there who will performance approach it, say that I will outperform someone. And then the performance avoidance people are like, I will just not do the worst.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I am the I'm totally
you
the last.
are.
Like, don't I mean I know you know how I work, but like let's just put it this way. In most situations, I just rather no one pay attention to me. I'll comply. I'll do it. I'll do it well. But like as long as I'm not the worst person in the room and no one can tell me that I did a bad thing, fine. Sorry. Is it still pens?
Well, we can totally go back to pens.
I don't know how to bring it back to pens. Journaling. Okay, okay. Let's talk about journaling. Um, Admittedly, I'm a very anal retentive journaler. You know this.
Mhm,
People who have been with us for quite a while know that when I do the journaling, it's like intense. You the
yeah,
formatting, right? And like
yeah.
I say a lot of stuff whenever I journal. I really thought that moving from a Hobonichi cousin to a take a note would lessen the amount of things I write. At least at the start of the journaling in 2022. And I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
I'll totally write less. No. As it turns out, I wrote exactly the same amount of stuff in one page of a Hobonichi cousin, A5, as in every
Mm.
column in a take a note. Okay. And the only thing that changed was I couldn't put as much decorations on the take a note. So I was like, what the heck, Jika? I mean that's also partially why I stopped. I stopped because it was Hell Week and I was checking and there were like 200 plus papers, blah 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 blah, deadline, right? But like as time went by and March was done, and then I was like, hey, guess what? It's April and you still haven't written anything. There would be times when I'd be in the bathroom before showering and just like preparing. Chica, why aren't you journaling? What is the point? I mean, you used to be so prolific at it, and you admittedly your journal pages were pretty. So where did you go wrong? And then I realized I was competing with people in the room, but not a room. I was competing in my brain with the social media room
Right, yeah,
of aesthetics.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I was also in that same shoes.
Instagram, how dare you?
Mhm, yeah.
Helpful. The algorithm is not cool because it makes. I mean, maybe it's like body positivity. Like I mean, I'm a girl, so like I'm prone to it. But like, is there such a thing as feed envy,
Feed
feed
positivity.
positivity?
I think there is feed envy. Yeah, 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 I do think. You know,
Who's
but
pressuring?
yeah, yeah, right now people have, TikTok envy. Like, oh, he's doing better or she's doing better. Like she has a better dance video of this or whatever.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
And then they cross over on their from their
Mhm.
TikTok, and then they put like 500,000 on TikTok, and I'm like, why are you saying this on Instagram, child? I don't. But that's the point. Actually, stopping the journaling, not being in the mood, has been really helpful to like look at things quite objectively.
Mhm. True.
Yeah, my motivation now is just not to be the worst one in the room. Honestly, like coming into the reading about this on Monday, I was just like, I'm the only one in the room. There is no room, okay? I'm the only one because it's just me and my journal whenever I
Mhm.
journal. So, F that.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No,
Nahihiya.
it's perfectly fine.
Tayo ko. Ikaw, Ryan, are you performance approach? Or
Well,
not
admittedly,
the worst one?
before I was in that moment wherein I I was more of the performance approach. Like I wanted to be like I want to be unique. That's the reason why I didn't choose Shibui. Well, not aside from the fact that their leather kind of like scratches so easily. I didn't like leather that scratches so easily, as I wanted Galen leather. Um, but at the same time, the reason why like I would spend that amount of money to get Galen leather was because not everyone has Galen leather in Manila. So I'm like, okay, I want to be unique, and I'm gonna buy Galen leather.
I get that. And then
Yeah.
the algorithm just like tells you after. Guess what?
Mhm.
You buy unique stuff, but you're not unique. You're
Exactly.
in the feed of other people that you want your feed to look like. Oh, nakaka-pressure. Ayoko na. Char. The
No, no,
part.
no. But yeah, I get like where we're driving at here. Really, it's more of just real talk for us and maybe for people that um well, understandably, when we look at it in a personal in a personal way of looking at it, it's a matter of your choice. You do you. Like, who cares about what other people think? But of course, when you think about a marketing perspective, of course, marketers, people who work in companies like myself,
Ew.
we see the value of that. We need you to do that for us. You need to be an ambassador. You need to advocate the brand. And that's why we will do every effort to retain customer satisfaction and ensure that you will buy again.
No, I don't want any more. Only back from Sir Alden kasi nobody touches my collection except Sir Alden. See why. But yeah, guys, it's been pressuring enough. I hope that so far at least. And don't worry, I think we have like 1 point left. We hope that this episode is affirming that if you haven't journaled, if you haven't, I don't know, streamed, if you haven't posted on Instagram, you're fine. You're totally
Yeah, you're
fine.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And right now, probably something to drive us towards the almost conclusion of this
Mhm.
episode. I guess when I was talking a lot about how our motivation is intrinsic, extrinsic, our motivation could be for competition or competence. And I think I've reached to this point wherein it's more about me passing on now my interest to other people. And this is my anecdote
Hey, go
actually.
with the anecdote. I super like this.
I I I have a student, former student, graduated high school, and we had conversations about watches. Like, yeah. So he was super into watch. Like I noticed it already when I was teaching him theory of knowledge in the IB, and he would always use watch as like an object for his exhibition. Anyways, that's a requirement in school. So I was like, okay, interested with watch. Okay, like I want to get to know more about it. And then so like he appreciated that I was asking questions like, oh, can you tell me more about this? Like, oh, since you were so into it, like I want to learn more about watches as well. Like help me
Mhm.
also understand why you're choosing a watch as an object for your exhibition, blah blah. And then he was like, okay. And then he remembered like, oh, I remember that you were talking a lot about your interest, which was fountain pen. So we would talk about fountain pens, and then I actually enabled someone. So so interesting. Like my former student now is super excited to go to college with a fountain pen. And he wrote like a message for me, tell handwritten,
You sent this
cursive.
to me. Or I met
Yeah.
somewhere. It was so pretty.
Yeah, he wrote a note for me and it's like thanking me for being his teacher and but also influencing him to use fountain pens,
Influencing him.
influencing him and telling him which pens to get and which pens not to get. And of course, I told them about you have to take it slow. Don't be like me. I bought a lot of pens over the past few months at the start of my interest in fountain pens. So just take it slow. Figure out which pens you really like and which pens you don't. You don't have to rush it. So there. So I'm this at this point right now where I find motivation in the hobby not by purchasing, but by helping people appreciate fountain pens and stationaries. Yeah.
You're like a pen mentor. Pen,
I wish.
mentor. Or
Pentor. Is that a new Pokemon? Pentor.
mentor. This fountain pen head. And then like ink trail tail.
What type?
Oh no, this is like a new challenge. It's gonna be like, can you guys propose a Pokemon that's based on fountain pens? Please send them. Please. I'm legit curious. And I think you are too. And honestly, I said curious with a good point. Good. By the way, the story about our student, like, this the fuzzy feelings whenever you've been able someone, right?
Yeah. I was super, super, super touched. Like it probably one of my motivations as well. That's the reason why. Actually, I got the message, the note, handwritten note, while I was packing my things, and I
Aw.
was fixing my fountain pens. Like I was deciding whether I would bring them with me to Taiwan or
Mm.
I would leave them. I didn't bring the box. I do have a box. People call it the pen condo
I
um, box. So I did bring my fountain pens with me. But the thing was, I was thinking about whether I bring a lot of fountain pens or I'll just leave them in Manila. But after receiving that note, I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring my fountain pens.
I like it. I like that you said that anecdote because it ties in with this. The article actually ended on the note of curiosity and excitement. Um,
Hmm.
and essentially, it said something like there's usually, when we're talking about motivation, we tend to often think about extrinsic motivation or extrinsic rewards.
Yeah,
Yeah, like when we do something, or say in the hobby, when we buy a pen or when we journal, what do we get from it? But curiosity is actually intrinsic motivation. It's something that comes from us. So maybe that's
yeah,
like maybe that's something to consider. There was like the article made mention of this experiment where a certain set of people were, sorry, I have to look at my notes. Okay, so the experiment had people essentially be told that, hey, your task is going to be boring. Okay, and then they asked them before they started doing the boring task, hey guys, okay, you're gonna be doing something boring. Sorry, my iPhone's going off, but like you can hear it. But the
you can mute it.
mute that. How do
It's
you mute
been
that? It's
ringing.
on the laptop.
Oh, it's in the laptop.
How do I turn off notifications on the laptop?
I don't know.
Anyway, guys, you're gonna hear it. Sorry, I don't know how to do it. Point is, okay, a bunch of people were told that they're gonna be doing a boring task, but before they started the boring task, they were asked, okay, how boring do you think it's gonna be? The article had no details about like what measuring system they had, but most people actually, was it overestimate or underestimated? The point is that people tended to have an inaccurate marker of just how boring the task would be. Essentially saying that there's proof that despite the announcement of something boring or a non-reward awaiting you at the end of something, people are actually resilient enough to find something interesting in it. Like whatever happens, it's human nature, so it seems, to make the best of any situation and make any situation and maybe any, I don't know, any action less boring and more interesting, for survival, for fun. That's it. So curiosity. The end. Joke. I forgot how to relate it to pen purchasing. This is
Yeah.
why I have.
No.
This is why I can't do an episode alone, Raya.
Yeah, for sure. No problem. Like, I just think that, curiosity, we can also associate curiosity with, of course, learning, right? Growth mindset. So at the end of the day, we our motivation is not just simply to, to just go through with life, but we want to continuously grow, to continuously to learn, to see curiosity, beauty, interest in the mundane thing that we deal with, which is life, right? We have to find color, nuances, and meaning to it. And that's where curiosity, I think, lies, where we find new reasons, new meanings, and new motivations. I'd have to go back to motivation on new motivations as to why we're doing certain things. And so, whether you feel motivated or demotivated right now, don't worry about it. It will just come. It's, as what you mentioned, it's part of human nature, right?
And we're staying curious. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, sorry, I'm just like processing things in my brain as well. Keeping up with the own conversation that we started. But in essence, what you're saying is that no matter how demotivated we are right now or as of late, the fact that we're still curious means that we're still in it. We're not out of the
Yeah.
game. It's like a testament to just how much we've got going for us. Like we're not motivated at this point by anything external based on the fact that we are demotivated. But the fact that we are still doing this podcast, the fact that we're talking about this, the fact that I still acquired a pen, the fact that you brought all your pens and enabled the child, is still testament to us being here, being part of the
Yeah.
community and being still interested in this interest.
Yeah.
That's so
Correct.
affirming. We're just taking a break.
Yeah. We are just taking a break.
So we're
And
gonna
I'll be
do
back
that?
with a new pen.
When? You're in the land of Twisby and Opus 88.
We'll see, we'll see. But yeah, it's just that I'm trying to consolidate my interest.
In
I
your life.
started to, yeah.
That's fine. I'm excited for it. I'm actually more motivated for your stuff than mine. So whenever you're ready, just like post it on our stories, please. Please. We don't.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have anything yet though, so
Yeah,
yeah,
you still
nothing
have
yet
to
to
settle
post.
down. Don't rush into anything. And maybe that's a thing. Like keywords, like affirmations. Stay curious. They have that in coffee shops, right? Stay curious.
True.
But I guess now there's sense to it. Thank you, American Psychological Association. But yeah, stay
For
curious,
being our
keep at it,
readers.
forgive yourself,
Yeah.
don't be sorry. The guilt's normal. You're
Yeah.
still here. We're still here. The end.
The end. Goodbye. And that is another episode, which I think is longer than usual. Tells you that we are motivated.
I missed you, and I did miss talking about this stuff. I have no one to talk to anymore. No friends since I left my. No, I have friends, but like there were more hobby people in our old job than there are now. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
just,
okay.
and that's
So
okay.
yeah. So when you do feel demotivated, talk to your friend. And that's just what happened today. We talked to each other and now we feel a little bit more motivated. Maybe Jika will journal tonight. Maybe I will journal tonight. But whether I journal or she journals or she doesn't and I don't, doesn't matter. Because what matters is that we're happy.
That's true. The world burning. I owe it to myself to chill.
Yeah. So since the world is burning, time for you to disconnect already. It's been 1 hour of you listening to us. So thank you for listening to another episode of Pen.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.